mental practice in throwing darts at a target, wherein a person sits for a period each day in front of the target and imagines throwing darts at it, improves aim as much as actually throwing the darts. It almost doesn't sound real. Like, you're telling me I'm going to sit here and just think that I'm throwing darts and then I actually will throw darts better? Yep. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. All right, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Female Health Solution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beth Westy. Today, we're going to talk about my biggest secret to success and something that I talk about in the programs that I work with women on, the Female Health Solution program. This is something that I feel is really vital. It's really important to include on a daily basis for as long as you can. Even a tiny amount of time is really, really helpful. This is also a big secret to success that a lot of people have and don't mention or talk about. And I honestly believe if you are working on your physical health and you are not including pieces of mental health, emotional health, and working towards that, then you're not really getting the full scope, the full picture. And things are being left out. So this is the biggest secret that I have for you overall, and it is visualization. Visualization. This might sound hokey, it might sound weird, whatever. I don't care. This is something that I have done in my life. I would love to say super consistently, but if we're going to be honest, not always. But I started doing this actually in high school because of a recommendation from a coach. And I started doing this for sports, right? For athletics. And it helped me be a really successful athlete. Visualization, what is it? How to do it? And then we're going to talk about some studies, research, and some other things to read on this. Well, visualization is just that. You visualize, you create a mental image in your head of whatever it is you want the outcome to be, or whatever you want to create. Now, there are some people who use this for, and they call it like manifestation or things like that. Sure. But it does have a scientific root to it and how it rewires the neurons in your brain. Your brain does not know the difference in a mental picture that it's seeing and something that actually occurred. So if you have a memory of something and you're replaying that memory in your head, like let's just say the last time you ate pizza. Think of that. Think of the last time you ate pizza. What kind of pizza was it? Where did it come from? Did you order delivery? Did you go out to eat? Were you with friends? Right? What were you wearing? And I guarantee you just flashed images in your head, right? I did. We ordered take and bake pizza. I like pepperoni and green olive. That was my roommate's favorite from college. And yeah, and it was we had gluten-free, right? It's gluten-free pizza. And I remember it. Boom, there's the mental images in your head. You just did visualization. Was it a memory? Yes. Now I want you to take that same concept, the memory of you eating the pizza in the past. Now I want you to visualize yourself eating pizza tomorrow. I want you to visualize somebody saying, hey, I'm at your door and I got a couple of pizzas. Let's have dinner. And it's the same pizza that you just ate, right? You can make that happen. You can visualize that same thing, that mental movie, that mind movie that you just created. That's visualization. That's the basic of it. The more powerful you make it, the better your brain wires it to have it connect. Meaning, I want you to visualize and picture you opening your front door and there's a really good friend standing there holding a pizza, right? You can see your friend smile. You can feel the doorknob or the handle on your front door, right? Does your door creak when it opens, right? Can you hear that sound? It opens. Your friend is standing there, big smile, surprise, I bought you pizza. And you can smell the pizza, right? Those details Make it more real. Those details, you including color, sound, smell, right? Anything associated with it makes it more powerful. That's it. That's what visualization is. That's a really simple example of what it is. So how do you use that, and why is that important for your health and everything else? Well, you can do the same thing. Take the same techniques, take the same concept, and apply it for your health. When you're working out and you get to a certain point, a certain set or exercise where you're like, I feel like garbage. I really hate this. Or I get 35 minutes into a 45-minute class and I feel like I want to collapse. Okay, how about you visualize that point in the class and visualize yourself powering through it in a different way? How do you feel when you walk into the gym? Do you feel confident, or do you feel like, oh, I hope nobody looks at me and thinks that I look chubby today? Visualize that different. How do you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror? Be honest. When you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you're getting dressed. What are the thoughts that just go through your head about yourself? Are you thinking, gosh, I am really grateful for the body I'm living in and the strength that I have and everything? Or do you look and say, oh my gosh, I have a little cellulite back here, or I have this roll on my belly right here? Visualize looking at yourself in the mirror and just thinking positive things, even once a day. Even if you do nothing else but take 5 minutes to think something positive about your physical body. It's going to change how you feel about your body. That will change your results and your outcome. Your thoughts direct your feelings direct your actions direct your results. Now, I have some people, you might be thinking, this is delusional. This is delusional. That's not really happening yet. Okay, but you can set your brain into recognizing that pattern and being ready for it. This is, and I'm going to go through one of my favorite books and talk about where they, and read a research study that they did a long time ago. I started doing this in high school. I honestly can't remember what coach said to do this. I really can't. I wish I could. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I had so many wonderful coaches throughout my athletic career. And at some point, one of them has said something, because there's no way I did this on my own and just like thought it up. Something about visualization. And this was something that Olympians did. Top professional athletes do this. If you are in the top of your field, how do you gain 1% of an advantage over somebody else? Right? If you are a swimmer or a runner or something like that, and you versus someone else, you only have a certain number of hours you can train a day because you have to rest, you have to eat, you have to do body work, all those things. How do you get an advantage over the next person? Right? They started utilizing visualization techniques with Olympians and saw amazing results. They do this, and they talk about these tactics at seminars for huge CEOs and millionaires and billionaires and all this other stuff. And the thing about this is that this is free. This doesn't cost you a penny. All it costs you is time and effort. That is it. Through nothing else but time and effort on your part, you can make a change. And you might be wondering, well, how much time and how much effort and all this stuff? This is like a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. All of that, right? So here's what I used it for in starting in high school. I remember visualizing before volleyball games. And in high school, my junior and senior year of high school, we were state champs. Go Cats. For volleyball. And it was a really big deal because that was the first state championship our high school had won. And I remember being so diligent before every game before we even stepped on the court, before we even did warm-ups and stuff, right? We would be ready. I'd be in my uniform and warm-up gear, and we would, as a team, sit in a circle and go around like what our goals were for the game. I want to get this many digs. I want to serve this many aces, all that stuff. And then I would go off by myself and I would visualize blocking. And I would visualize, because as a middle hitter, a middle blocker, blocking was a big part of my job on the court. And I would visualize blocking the players. If I knew the players, if I knew the team and knew the players, I would visualize that specifically. Like I would play in my head the picture of this other gal, doing her getting set the ball, doing her approach and swinging to hit. And I would visualize my hands going up and blocking. It would hit my hands, and then the ball would go down on their side of the net. I would replay that over and over and over again in my head. Different players, different things. I would visualize me hitting. I would visualize me serving. I would visualize all this stuff. And I would replay it again and again and again in my head. And I don't know how to explain it other than I would replay that same thing until it felt smooth, until it felt seamless. But that was my main thing before every game, every single game, no matter what. That's what I would visualize. Yeah. I also held, I don't know if I still hold it, but I held the record for number of blocks per game in high school. I'm not saying this to brag, right? I'm not saying this to brag. I was the tallest on the team. I was not the fastest. I couldn't jump the highest. I wasn't the best athlete on the team. I worked my butt off. But the one thing that I did every time was I visualized. And then I did the same thing in college. And after college, going to graduate school, doing all these other things, I got swept up in the world, all that stuff. And then starting business, people started talking about visualization again. And I was like, oh, I used to do that religiously. So I started incorporating it into my life, and it is amazing. And the more I talk about this with people, the more amazing your results can be. Because honestly, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. If you feel like you are frustrated with anything, again, I just gave you the example of something with sports, something with, your physical body and everything else. This can be anything, relationships, whatever that is. Visualize an outcome. Play it in your head. That's it. And everything, gosh, this does sound hokey. And you know what? Who cares if it sounds hokey? Just try it. The more I do it, the more I'm amazed at how things happen, just like I visualized. Again, it doesn't cost you a penny, just some of your time and some of your energy. So, book recommendation off of this. And again, in my programs, I teach you how to do this more in detail. And this is one of the books I talk about in my program. I teach you how to do this. I talk about this more, and we go through a challenge in the program because this is so important and so helpful. So this book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. This is a reprint of it. It's by Maxwell Maltz, MD. And then there's a new introduction, some commentary by Matt Fury. This is an Audible as well, but I like having certain books in book form, and this is definitely one of them. They talk about tapping into the power of your subconscious mind. Maxwell Maltz, MD, you might be thinking that sounds weird, right? This was originally published in 1960. He's a plastic surgeon. Back before people got plastic surgery for a lot of cosmetic reasons, it was more for you got in an accident and then they had to fix your ear or something, right? So he goes through and talks about, as a plastic surgeon, what he realized impacted people and their self-esteem, their motivation, their personality. And this is in the beginning of the book. Again, I have it bookmarked here. The beginning of the book where he talks about visualization and the immense power of this. In a controlled experiment, psychologist V.A. Vandel proved mental practice in throwing darts at a target, wherein a person sits for a period each day in front of the target and imagines throwing darts at it, improves aim, as much as actually throwing the darts. It almost doesn't sound real. Like, you're telling me I'm going to sit here and just think that I'm throwing darts, and then I actually will throw darts better? Yep. Research Quarterly reported an experiment on the effects of mental practice, visualization, on improving skill in sinking basketball free throws. One group of students that practiced throwing a ball every day for 20 days, was scored on the first and last days. A second group was scored on the first and last days, but engaged in no sort of practice in between. A third group was scored on the first day and then spent 20 minutes a day imagining they were throwing a ball into the hoop. When they missed, they would imagine that they corrected their aim accordingly. The first group, which practiced only 20 minutes a day, improved in scoring by 24%. I hope so. Group of students, not ball players, not athletes. First day, they take a measurement. How many free throws did you make? Come in every day, practice for 20 minutes. Last day, 20 days later, for 20 minutes of practice a day, they improved by 24%. That's a lot. That's a big improvement, which, of course, right? Second group, no practice, no improvement. Duh. Third group, they practiced in their imagination. They did not walk into a gym. They did not touch a basketball physically. They did it all up here. They improved in scoring 23%. So you're telling me to get better at free throws, I could sit for 20 minutes a day and visualize shooting the free throws? What does that cost you? Like, just the time that it takes to sit in the chair for 20 minutes and think of that, right? Why would you not? Right? Why? And this is just one tiny excerpt from this book, right? From this book that I think is so helpful. And actually, I read this book at least once a year. Read / listen to on Audible, like once a year. And I talk about this book all the time. This is one of the most powerful things you can do. This is one of the most powerful things you can do to shift your mindset with wherever you're at, whatever you're trying to accomplish, and move you forward from that really stuck place. I wish more people talked about this on a daily basis. I wish more people knew about this and how easy it is. Visualize, and watch what happens over the course of 20 days, right? That's something measurable, like doing athletic performance, things like that. Is there muscle memory involved? Yes, but for only the people who actually physically did it. Meaning you can create muscle memory up here. That's how powerful your mind is. So if your mind is that powerful, why would you not want to practice looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself in a positive light? Having good feelings about yourself versus bad feelings. Why would you not want to visualize yourself putting on a pair of pants that you've been wanting to put on for a long time and they fit and you can button them? Why would you not want to incorporate all of these tactics in ways to move you forward? That's it. It's visualization. That literally is the secret to so many successful things. The hardest thing is just remembering to keep doing it, remembering to be consistent with it. Set a timer in your phone. I will do visualization right away in the morning and at night before I go to bed. In the group, I talk about certain brain waves, things like that. Theta brain waves that are most impressionable to get into your subconscious, all of those things. So that's if there's going to be a best time to do it, kind of right when you wake up in the morning and you're sort of sleepy, dreamlike, and then right as you're going to bed at night as well. So that's what I do. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. That's my goal. It makes a big difference. Just start doing it every day. See where it takes you. That's what I got for you guys today. That's what I wanted to share for today. Thank you for tuning in. This is what we go through in the program. Again, it is so much more than just let's work on your hormones, let's work on activity, let's work on getting you healthier and stronger and all that stuff. Yes, but there are these really important mindset foundation pieces that can change your life. Absolutely can change your life. So Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.